French President Emmanuel Macron has described the Iranian attack on Israel as disproportionate and urged against the conflict escalating.
Dans ce contexte, il y a eu plusieurs interventions qui étaient liées à l'Iran. Et Israël, en effet, il y a plusieurs jours, a frappé en Syrie, à Damas, une emprise diplomatico-militaire iranienne. Les Iraniens ont répondu. Mais ils ont répondu de manière, si je puis dire, disproportionnée, parce qu'au lieu d'aller toucher des intérêts israéliens en dehors d'Israël, eh bien, ils ont été chercher Israël sur son sol, depuis leur sol, ce qui est une première.
David Cameron, former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, said the attack was a total failure and said he hoped there would not be a response in retaliation.
The attack was an almost total failure, and they've revealed to the world that they are the malign influence in the region prepared to do this. So our hope is that there won't be a retaliatory response, and instead the world's focus should shift to Hamas.
Iran launched around 300 drones and missiles towards Israel between Saturday and Sunday, though Israel say 99% were intercepted. This is the first time Iran has openly attacked Israel. It comes after a strike widely blamed on Israel hit an Iranian consular building in Syria, killing 2 generals.
Russian strikes hit Sloviansk, Dnipro and Kherson, causing damage to buildings and injuring several. In Dnipro, 13 people, including a child, were injured, according to the chief of the regional military administration. Russia has used strikes to attack Ukraine's power infrastructure, with critical infrastructure in Kherson damaged. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken assured Black Sea allies that they could rely on US support. Addressing attendees at the Black Sea Security Conference in Sofia, Blinken highlighted the importance of investing in the region's security.
Let me emphasize that we will stand with Ukraine as long as it takes to win this war. I assure you that supporting Ukraine will remain in the focus of our defense policy during the term of office of the current caretaking government.
Russia annexed the Crimean Peninsula on the northern coast of the Black Sea in 2014.
French President Emmanuel Macron on Monday said the opening ceremony for the Paris Olympics planned on the River Seine could be shifted instead to the Stade de France if the security threat is deemed too high. The ceremony involves boats carrying athletes along the Seine on a 6-kilometer parade and huge crowds watching from the embankments.
Il y a un dispositif sans précédent. Jamais la France n'aura autant anticipé et déployé autant de moyens sur la sécurité. Moi, j'ai confiance dans les forces de l'ordre de notre pays pour sécuriser ces Jeux.
The 26th of July event is set to be the first Olympic opening ceremony held outside a stadium setting. To limit security risks, Macron said organizers could decide to shorten the itinerary of the parade on the Seine or even relocate. Last month, the French government increased its security alert posture to the highest level after the deadly attack at a Russian concert hall claimed by the Islamic State. Violence has erupted in the Georgian parliament during a heated debate on a controversial foreign influence law. Mamuka Dinaradze, head of the governing Georgian Dream parliamentary party, was punched by an opposition member as he was presenting the draft law to the assembly. Scuffles broke out as other politicians and security staff became involved. The bill would require media and other non-commercial organizations to declare as foreign interests if they receive more than 20% of their funding from abroad. Opponents of the proposal also gathered outside the parliament. They say similar legislation was used in Russia to stifle independent news media and opposition groups. Last year, an earlier version of the law was put forward by the Georgian Dream Party, but was withdrawn after mass street protests.
The lead candidate of Hungary's leftist opposition party DK called for snap elections at a joint opposition campaign opening event in Budapest. According to MEP Klára Dobrev, if the majority of Hungarian voters declare on the 9th of June they no longer wish to be governed by the Orbán regime, the opposition will push for early elections. European Parliament and local elections will take place in June.
A házak későbbi összeomlásának az egyik legbiztosabb jele, amikor az alapok elkezdenek repedezni. Na ez történik pontosan most a Fidesszel. Mára a nagyon nagy többség számára egész egyszerűen szégyen ezt a kormányt támogatni.
The lead candidate of the Party of European Socialists also spoke at the event, calling Orbán's ruling reckless, irresponsible and undemocratic.
Since his party came to power, rule of law has eroded. He has transformed this country step by step into a system that grants himself full power and his friends access to all kinds of resources and money.
Nicolas Schmitt luxemburgi politikus, az Európai Szocialisták Pártjának csúcsjelöltje beszédében kiemelte, üzenetük az antidemokratikus szereplőknek és mozgalmaknak a következő: nincs együttműködés, nincs koalíció sem Orbán Viktorral, sem a szélsőjobboldallal. Számukra ez a vörös vonal. Kónya Rita, Euronews, Budapest.
With less than 2 months to go before the European elections, the French right-wing candidate François-Xavier Bellamy wants to show he is tough on immigration. On Friday, the member of the centre-right European People's Party chose a symbolic place to do so, the French city of Menton near Italy, a flashpoint of the migration debate which has sparked multiple diplomatic rows between both countries. Bellamy's goal to meet with the French border police and to reaffirm his party's opposal to the recently approved EU migration pact, deemed too lax by the French conservatives.
Nous nous sommes opposés à l'essentiel de ce pacte asile et migration parce que nous sommes ici à une frontière où l'on constate concrètement le désarmement de nos États face à la crise migratoire et nous pensons qu'il faut sortir de cette impuissance et malheureusement le pacte asile et migration ne permet pas d'apporter la solution nécessaire pour réussir à mieux protéger nos frontières.
The candidate went against the request of his own parliamentary group in Brussels, co-author of the pact, to vote for the majority of the reform. The pact aims to speed up the asylum process and also simplify the return of irregular migrants to their home countries. It will require member states to share responsibility for asylum seekers either by taking in more migrants or by providing extra funding. In the Roya Valley, an hour away from Menton, this activist for the NGO Roya Citoyenne, known for sheltering migrants who have crossed the border, has slammed both the new pact and Bellamy's stance on immigration.
Ça va simplement rendre leur passage, leur vie et leur parcours beaucoup plus durs, beaucoup plus dangereux. N'importe comment, on n'arrête pas un flux de personnes qui sont désespérées, qui ont quitté leur pays de cette façon-là, et d'une façon ou d'une autre, ils passeront ou ils mourront.
More than 44,000 arrests were carried out at this border crossing in 2023, with some of these migrants having been detained multiple times. A sensitive topic that will remain at the heart of these upcoming European elections, as the member states must now endorse the final version of the pact, possibly in a vote at the end of April.
Election campaigns in Croatia have been marked by bitter fighting between the country's two top officials, as the ballot on Wednesday will pit the ruling conservative Croatian Democratic Union, led by incumbent Prime Minister Andrej Plenković, against an alliance of centrist and left-wing parties informally led by populist President Zoran Milanović and his Social Democratic Party.
A što je alternativa i tko je alternativa? Alternativu u ovim izborima predvodi ne ova formalna oporba, nego je predvodi kršitelj Ustava Milanović, koji je napravio političku diverziju na ove parlamentarne izbore, ruši temelje ustavnog poretka Republike Hrvatske.
President Milanović becoming a prime minister designate would be an unprecedented move in Croatia. The Constitutional Court ruled in March that he could not be a candidate in the parliamentary elections while he remains president.
Ako Ustavni sud smatra da ima išta sporno, onda su trebali reagirati, jer u protivnom Hrvatsku će pretvoriti u nešto što Hrvatska nije bila i neće biti. Bjelorusiju ili slične zemlje.
According to the latest polls, the ruling party is set to remain in power, but will lose the majority. Observers point to the absence of topics of economy and security from public discourse during the campaign.
I sve se svodi na pitanje hoćete Plenkovića ili Milanovića, odnosno obrnuto. I to je jednu državu, jednu naciju koja nema puno političke kulture, nema puno demokratske tradicije, još po mom sudu nazadilo za nekoliko koraka.
The president plays a major role in the post-election formation of a governing coalition, and populist President Milanovic is likely to remain center stage.
Hundreds of people attended the Kosher Food Festival in Berlin on Sunday. The event was organized by the Jewish community group Chabad to respond with a, quote, positive spirit to the ongoing situation in the Middle East, inviting all Berlin residents in the German capital to taste Jewish life. In the face of an unprecedented attack by Iran on Israel, involving hundreds of drones and missiles, organizers had considered cancelling the festival.
Euronews. The news.